Watchmaking is one of the oldest Swiss trades. In Fleurier, a small town in the French part of Switzerland, watchmakers have been handing down their craftsmanship from one generation to the next. One of the most famous Swiss brands located in Fleurier is the luxury label Chopard. We're inside the Lyceum. This is Chopard's own watch museum on the premises of the manufacturer in Fleurier. It was opened in 2006 by Karl-Friedrich Scheufele, one of the co-presidents of Chopard, and we had the pleasure to speak to him about the watchmaking industry. Good afternoon, Mr. Scheufele. The Lyceum is your personal watch museum. What was the idea behind the collection?
Well, the idea, first of all, was to show time measurement from the very early days, all the way to, obviously, what we do today at Chopard, and also to give some inspiration to the young people who work in our company, and to show what responsibilities we have today when we make watches. A big and long tradition and history. Watchmaking is one of the oldest trades in the world, and the Lyceum is also, of course, a very interesting place to visit for watch collectors, watch aficionados, and also people who just want to find out more about watchmaking.
What innovations has Chopard been responsible for?
Well, in the earlier days, my great-grandfather invented a device to carry or to wear a pocket watch on your wrist. And that was my family company at the time. And Chopard itself was a supplier of the Swiss railways, for example, in the old days, because they made particularly precise pocket watches.
The watchmaking industry wants to put more emphasis on its Swissness in the future. Why is this so important?
Well, if you look around here, around this museum here, you see that we have a very long history, a very long tradition in Switzerland, obviously for timekeeping, watchmaking, and we think it is a very important aspect. The Swissness of this business is a very important aspect, and the fact that, for example, our company produces 95% of everything here in Switzerland, including the components that we buy are made in Switzerland. I think it's a very reassuring aspect to the consumer today, and I think it's something we need to keep up and we need to emphasize and communicate.
We are here in the manufacture of Chopard. What is special about this manufacture?
Well, manufacture in French is a place where watch movements are created, conceived, developed, and produced from A to Z. And this is really the sort of the qualification or the definition of a manufacture. And that's what we do here. We really entirely conceive a watch movement from A to Z, produce all the components, and then actually produce the movement and test it, and before it finally gets inserted in a watch.
How many people does it take to produce a Chopard watch?
Well, in our production companies, we account for about 40 different crafts. We have engineers, we have designers, we have watchmakers, we have jewelers, we have people who polish the watch cases, stone setters. It's an incredible amount of crafts, of different crafts that work like an orchestra to actually produce one watch or piece of jewelry. Well, precision watches are made of obviously precision components, so everything has to be done in an extremely precise way. And we are talking about micro millimeters. We have some tiny parts, and every single one of them has to be extremely well made in order to to form a precision entity. Every step of the way has to be quality oriented, and we have quality checks all the way, including the finished product. So it's a 100% quality approach.
How many components does it take to make a precision watch?
Well, it depends on the complication of the movement, but automatic movement basically consists of about 200 components, and some of which are hardly visible with your eye. So obviously the main tool of a watchmaker is a loop. So, but some movements have up to 380 components and even more. So this is a particularly interesting piece for many reasons. One of the reasons being that it's one of the very few pocket watches from the 18th century with what you call decimal time. So this watch shows you 10 hours only in one day, and the 10 hours have 100 minutes each. And but the idea didn't catch on, maybe better that way. Also the watchmaker itself, it's Mr. Berthoud. And Berthoud is a watchmaker that was actually born 10 minutes away from Fleurier, and that moved to France and became one of the most well-known watchmakers and watchmaker to one of the kings in France. Throughout time, watches and clocks meant a lot to people because they kept them obviously for many, many years, and from generation to generation. I think a watch of the kind that we produce today is not really only meant to just tell you what time it is, but it's really also a part of your personality. It is an object that you cherish, that you want to keep, that you buy as almost as an objet d'art. So I think our industry still has a lot of an interesting future going forward.
What are the difficulties of the watchmaking business?
Well, one of the difficulties that we face and that we actually address at the same time is the quality of craftsmanship. And we have in our company at all times about 35 apprentices in different fields. We teach young people the trade because we believe that it's the only way that we can ensure to have quality craftsmen for the years to come, and this is the basis for our success.
Chopard will be 150 this year. How do you feel about this big birthday?
Well, obviously it's quite an emotion. It's a time where you'd like to look back at, you know, the things that you built and the brand that we built over the years and the reputation. But at the same time, it's a big responsibility for the future. And it is only, in a way, it is only a moment in the development of the company. And we like to say we are 150 years old, but we're also 150 years young. And I think it's important to remain creative and innovative for the future.